I have a problem here, guys. A very sweet, adorable, loving, affectionate, entirely too big to be a lap dog problem. So Freya is what's considered to be known as a giant breed. She's a mix of two different types of giant breed dogs. The first one is an Anatolian Shepard, and the second one is a Tibetan Mastiff. Actually, when you look at Freya's scruff, that big fluffy neck, you can kind of really see the Tibetan Mastiff come out, although her muzzle and her skin coat and stuff is pretty much what you would expect to see from an Anatolian Shepard. Freya is a double-coated fur baby. Basically what that means is she has two layers of fur. She's got an underlayer and an upper layer. And unfortunately, for this particular type of dog, you can't trim, you can't really get that cut because it's kind of part of the way that they insulate, heat themselves, and also actually part of the way that they cool themselves. So that causes a ton of hair to be shed and placed all over everything. Your clothes, your furniture, your floor. You could pretty much find hair anywhere if you have this type of dog. Anyone who has a livestock guardian dog that is obviously going to be double coated, or anyone that has like dogs that are kind of like golden retrievers and like German shepherds, they kind of understand what I'm saying. Like the hair just absolutely gets everywhere with these types of dogs. In terms of this little girl's weight, she's big. I would say the last time I had her weighed, she was already over 70 pounds, and that was several months ago. I have to pick her up and down at times from the car, and I can tell you straightforward that she's at least 100 pounds, and she may already be heavier. I would say she's somewhere between, on the light end, 90 pounds. On the heavier end, she might already be up to 110 pounds. She has a upcoming vet visit in January where I'll get a more accurate reading on her exact weight, her and her sister. We just adopted a dog, so that'll be a video coming up as well. At this point, you're probably wondering, why don't you just use like a smart vac, like a Roomba? Why don't you use something like that that's just automatic? You can automate it. It reads your outlay, your square footage of your home, can bump into things and know where it's going and get better at it and take some of the stress off of you, right? Have you ever looked at a Roomba? Have you ever really looked at the actual vacuum on a Roomba and just saw like the actual footage of it? Now take a look at my dog and you'll see real quickly what the problem is here with that. The problem with that is that it'd take like 5 seconds for that thing to fill up, and then it just would be worthless, right? I get a lot of people always ask me, like, why don't you just use a regular vacuum? Like, just take the vacuum out and vacuum it. It's kind of what I do, but it ain't with no regular vacuum, guys. A regular vacuum will not work for me just because, simply put, once again, we're talking about a storage capacity for the actual tank that's inside of it. It'll fill up too fast. The thing that works for me when it comes to vacuuming, if I have to vacuum it, is I have to use a shop vac. Because then I can get into over like 2 gallons. Like pretty much any shop vac at this point is going to come with about 2.5 gallons. Most of them will, right? And then you can go way up from there. So that gives me a little space in between time to where I have to actually empty this thing out. And I may not have to empty it 14 times in one single, vacuuming session. We have a few different types of brushes, but two of the main ones that I like to use a lot. My wife uses the Pick one as well, but this guy here, which this is the main one, this gets the majority. She's already coming over here because she sees I have the brush. But this gets the majority of the clumps of the hairs off of her. And then this guy here is more of the finishing brush. Like this just like nice, soft, just kind of really brushes everything out. Gets her coat nice and smooth. This is a really good brush. This is a nice brush to have. This one is a workhorse brush, if I'm being honest. This is the one that I would anticipate we're gonna have to replace several times over the next 12 months just because she's big, she's full of hair, and this sucker does not look like it's made to last, for multiple uses, if I'm being honest. What I like to do is when I take her for walks, I like to sneak in a little bit of brushing as I'm walking her around the neighborhood. And you'll kind of see that here in a second. Right now, she's really tensed up, so I'm trying to give her a second to calm down. So when I get her to a natural stopping point, like we're about a quarter way through the walk, this is where I like to just kind of pull the brush out and just kind of brush her a little bit as she runs from me. All right, kid. So by walking her around, guys, I just like to kind of get a little bit on the backside there, just kind of take it, throw it around. I look at it this way. Yeah, I know some people are probably going to take offense to this because, you know, the hair can kind of get away from you, it gets everywhere. Normally when I'm in my yard, I don't really worry about it. I don't think it's that big a deal just because I look at it as like, okay, you know, I'm not necessarily an environmentalist, but look, the birds are going to use that hair and they're going to make their bird's nest from it. Like, it's going to get used by nature and it's outside of my home, which is the bigger thing for me. It's just a matter of cleanliness and like dealing with this hair it's insane to have this type of dog. I mean, people who have like German Shepherds and other breeds like that, other Shepherd breeds kind of go through this a little bit too, but it is an absolute headache. And you have to find unique ways of brushing these dogs, or else you will be spending a very, very, very long portion of your day brushing out your dog. My ending thoughts here are, it's simply put, if you're trying to maintain the hair level from a double-coated dog inside of your home, the best advice I can give you is brush, 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 and find any unique moment to keep brushing. It's going to save you a lot of vacuum time. It's going to save you a lot of sweeping time. It's going to save you a lot of mopping time. It's going to save you a lot of mental clarity and, you know, mental stress time. It's going to take so much off of your plate because no matter what you do, you will still find hair in your home. I promise you. These dogs produce hair like nothing I've ever seen before. So this is the Freya in her natural state during the daytime, where she's just chilled out and relaxed. And if she'll stay still for me, guys, I'll show you a little bit about brushing her, like kind of like what it looks like as I'm inside the house and kind of like what I like to do. And you guys can see how much hair will come off this bad boy. So we're going to start with this guy right here, okay? This is that main workhorse brush. Hi, sweet baby. Sweet baby. Now, you stay. You stay. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at all that hair from the pretty baby. Yes, look at all that hair from this pretty, pretty baby. Okay. That much hair in that short amount of time, okay? And this is just one method, and this is by far the most time-consuming method. The other method is the one I think works the best and is the one I use the most often because I have to walk this dog several times a day anyway. All right, y'all, I appreciate y'all so much. If you enjoyed today's content, if I can ask you to do me a huge favor, this is a new channel. I'm trying to grow it. I'd love to add you as a subscriber, guys. Just need you to hit that subscription button right up here. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out of here.